Welcome friends, today we're going to be looking at how we can adapt the Easy Chassis cowl onto an FMA chassis. Initially, if you take a look at this, this does not go with this, right? So if you just kind of lay it right on top, it just doesn't work, right? There's nothing to catch this part onto here, this front slot right here. There's nothing to, you can't slide it in. There's no like little lip to kind of slide underneath this hook part here. And the rear looks completely different from the rear of a typical FMA chassis cowl, or even any other like VZ or VS or AR or any other kind of Mini 4-wheel drive cowl. So this cowl here has its own little kind of special lock for it, and we are going to have to modify this cowl somehow so that we can fit it right on here and also right in here. So if you just lay this right on here sideways like this, like it looks like it could fit, right? So there's enough clearance here on the front for the front wheels, or on the front wheel section. But on the rear, if you take a look at this, this is like kind of touching the wheel. So if I were to turn this on right now with the batteries in place, it's not turning on, right? But there, now it turns on. I know that sounds terrible, right? There's a grittiness to this. So we might have to change the pinion gear on the motor. Maybe there's something wrong with it. But yeah, we'll do that at a later time. The important thing for this video is to try to fit this on here. So what do we need to be able to do this? Well, I've got here parts for a polycarbonate cowl. So here is the front lip for a polycarbonate. So you mount the polycarbonate cowl onto this part and this part here using the screws that have been included. And so we're going to try to finagle something so that we can mount these parts here onto something on here. We might need to use glue. We might need to use other sorts of adhesives or acrylic, liquid acrylic or something to try to get this to work. Now, once we make the modification, this is no longer going to fit on our little Easy Chassis car, unfortunately. And I'm okay with that. Because I think it'd be cooler to have this on an FMA chassis than on an Easy Chassis. Easy Chassis are cool, but they're slow, they're for kids, and they only have one battery in them, so they move like half the speed. No, they move much less than half the speed. It's just kind of like sad watching them move. So now we're going to try to convert this cowl so that it'll fit on FMA chassis, one of the cooler chassis out there, one of the more modern chassis, so that it could take advantage of all of the FMA chassis characteristics, such as the front-mounted motor, the lightweight, and the fact that this is one of the faster chassis out there right now. It is, in fact, the chassis for the Mach frame, and the Brocken Gigant, and the Gunbluster XTO, the new versions. And so a lot of people have great respect for this FMA chassis. So yeah, we're going to try to adapt our Easy Chassis cowl to this, and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, we are completely done with our Easy Cowl to FMA chassis conversion. So you can take a look at the finished product right here. And yeah, it looks pretty cool. So it looks like one of those little like buggy race cars that go around like the dirt tracks. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So let me show you here how I did this. So here's an MA chassis lock. You can use basically any lock that you want. And as you see on the bottom, we added the MS chassis polycarbonate cowl parts onto here on the front and the rear. And it's basically the support column, I think it's called, for the front and the back. And initially I had this part here, so I drilled holes here, but then it was like way too far back and I couldn't really mount the front part, so I decided to just shift it a little bit forward so that the rear of this vehicle is actually the rear of the car here. So that worked out very well. So here I drilled 2 holes, as you see right here, and it just fits in very nicely. I chopped off the back part here to look like this. So if you take a close look at what I'm doing here, you can see what I'm doing. The screws go from here to here, and they're not very long screws. They're like that long. And I've got 2 lock nuts securing this whole thing in place. Before I had all of these like aluminum spacers and things like that, but I figured that I really didn't need all that stuff so long as I just put the proper screws in place. And I could have something in between here. You see that little gap right there? So yeah, I could have put some sort of spacer there, and I might, but I think this is fine as it is. And here on the front, yeah, it's secured by, yes, a smallish screw as well. There is a post right there, an aluminum spacer that's right there, and that secures this whole thing in place. So it's like barely movable because I tightened it so much here. So yeah, it basically just slots right into place right here. So with a little bit of finagling, like you see here, I made a mistake here, right? When I had the holes back here, then I had to have this hole here, and it didn't quite fit exactly. So I just shifted the entire thing back so that this is where the lock will be. So here, let's slot it in place, and you can see that it fits exactly. So it goes right there into that slot. And here, it like overhangs a smidge, as you see here. But you can just push this in a little bit, and then you can then secure this with the MA or whatever body lock you choose, and it just locks in place, and it's all snug and secure like this minimal shake on the front, just a little bit, you can hear it, and no shake in the back, and yeah, we're good to go. So as you see here, the wheels clear where this is, right? There's a little bit of space there, a little bit of space here, and when we turn this on, oh, it doesn't sound very good, but as you see here, the wheels clear the chassis. So yeah, I'm going to have to look at the motor more closely and see what's going on. I think it's a loose pinion again, so I think that it needs to be replaced, the pinion on the motor. But otherwise, this is a very successful conversion from EZ to FMA chassis. Very, very cool. If you like this video, please slam the like button, subscribe to my channel. You'll see more videos just like this one. Until next time, everybody, see you, bye, and happy racing.